Let's discuss how the president should proceed with Larry Korb of the Center for American Progress and Fox News foreign policy analyst Kiron Skinner. Thank you both for being here. We really do appreciate it. What are the perils? What are the problems? What are the challenges? And what minefields potentially lay out there? Larry?
Well, I think the real question is, what are your preconditions and what will happen when you make a deal if you do? For example, let's say Kim agrees to give up all of his nuclear weapons. The question is, how are you going to verify that? It takes a couple of years to set up an inspection regime, as we saw in Iran, and even then the president doesn't think it's that good. And North Korea is much more difficult to inspect. What will you do if you don't come to an agreement? Then what next? Because Kim has been legitimized. I mean, this is a ruthless dictator who, does horrible things to his own people. And now you have met with him, something he's been trying with the last 4 presidents who turned him down. So he walks away with something. I think you should have thought of that. And even today, they kept sending different messages. Some preconditions, no preconditions. What's your plan? Normally, when you have heads of state meet, you have negotiators ahead of time work out things.
But you do believe that the president is doing the right thing and that he should actually take this meeting?
Oh, yeah, I think he should. But I think he needs to do it in the right way and lessen the risks.
Now, Kiron, what's your take on this? The president doing the right thing here?
I think so, and I disagree with Larry Korb, the way he's presented it. I don't think the dangers and pitfalls exist as much as many of the detractors are trying to say for this particular reason. At least since 1992, we've had discussions going on with the North Koreans at lower levels in the U.S. government, and they ended up in an inconclusive way. Because we're dealing with an authoritarian regime, really a totalitarian leadership, it's important that the top of the U.S. government be involved in the initial discussions with the North Korean leader. So what looks unconventional, I think, really reflects the reality of the failed policy of more than a couple of decades. And we're going into this, maybe there are different messages coming out of Washington and out of North Korea as a result of this, unusual announcement and an unusual approach. But the fact remains that the U.S. remains committed to degrading North Korea. It's going in with the history behind its back and having learned lessons of all the failures of negotiations in the past.
Larry, why do you think we even got to this position? I mean, it seems that the one thing that has changed is President Trump. He's actually taken a very aggressive stance. He's used unconventional communication, if you will. Do you give him some credence to that, or is there any belief that is actually what drove the North Koreans to the table?
Well, I think there's 2 things. One, he has reached a point where he is ready to go nuclear. Since President Trump's come in, he's had 22 tests, various things. So he is where he wants to be. And the question becomes now, what next? And if he's willing to give this up, even if you can verify it, the question, what is he going to want in return? Is he going to ask us to take our troops out of South Korea, for example? Those are questions that we need to think about before we get in there. And Kiron is right. I mean, we've had negotiations that haven't worked. But even again, you don't want the president to go in and make a mistake, because it's not like a lower level person making a mistake. If, he does it, then it's very hard to undo.
Kiron, does it matter where this happens? I mean, the optics are such a big part of this, but you really want to get to the substance of what's happening. Where should they do this?
I don't think it really matters, but it would be, I think, appropriate and interesting to do it on the Korean Peninsula. I think it would send a major signal to the Asian partners if it happened there. But let me just speak to the point about the president and making mistakes. The president is not going into negotiations with Kim Jong Un. He's going into discussions and talks. And if you go back to the Reagan administration, there was no possibility of getting the first nuclear disarmament agreement of the Cold War had it not been for Reagan and Mikhail Gorbachev building a personal relationship and talking, and Reagan talking with other Russian leaders, such as Anatoly Dobrynin during those years. So I think that we've got to also give the president a kind of wide latitude here, because he's just going to talk and begin to lay the groundwork for the negotiations that will follow.
Yeah, but Reagan never did it without George Shultz and Cap Weinberger. Tillerson yesterday said he didn't think we ought to have negotiations. That same day, the president contradicted him. That's what I worry about. What kind of message are we sending? It's
listen,
not unified.
I think this is a positive step forward. I thank you both for your expertise on this topic. We hope to have you back. And again, thank you for joining us tonight.